Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Welcome everyone to Sparking Change with Gigi. I'm your host, Giovanna Tartarone, and today's show we're going to be talking about discovering a new type of energy healing that, maybe some of you heard of it, some of you have not. It's called the Jin Shin Jyutsu.
Very
And
good.
did I say it correctly?
You said it very well.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah.
And my guest, Lorraine Materi, is a dedicated holistic healer with over 20 years of experience in Reiki and quantum healing. And the last 6 years, she's been practicing Jin Shin Jyutsu with her clients. And it's rooted really with the passion and intuition and her deep understanding of the body's natural ability to restore itself. Lorraine helps others reconnect with their inner harmony by easing stress, supporting emotional balance, and guiding the body back to its healing intelligence. I'm excited to explore her wisdom and the beauty and the beautiful power of Jin Shin Jyutsu. Welcome, Lorraine.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Gigi. Thank you so much for having me on. I really, I really appreciate the time so that I can actually spread the word about Jin Shin Jyutsu. And you said it very well.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I try. There's so much to learn when you get into the healing hearts. There's so much that we have not been exposed to. And this is one of the things that I love, to learn more about. I want the audience to know more about, because it's really about taking our power back.
Exactly.
But before we get into it, I always love to know, how did you get into it? What sparked your interest, and now you made it your life mission to help others with it. So can we discuss that a little bit?
Sure. So actually, holistic healing has been a part of my life for many, many years. It started, when I was in my early 20s. I was in a very bad place in my life, suffering from depression and anxiety. And I went the route of Western medicine with medications and in and out of doctors, and nothing was working. And I was lucky enough to have a friend who was a number of years older than me, who had been, saying to me, Lorraine, it's not working. I had been, instead of getting better from these medications, not only was I not getting better from depression, but I now was physically sick from all the side effects. Right. So, it was just, I was just spiraling downward. And she said, you know what? I have a friend and I'd love to take you to her. And I said, well, why not? Because nothing else is working. And I was really at my wit's end. And I said, sure. So what I did was I went with her. So first of all, what she said to me was, my friend is an energy healer. I looked at her and I said, what is that? I'm all of like 20 years old. I don't know what that is. I had never been introduced to it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but I trusted her.
Right.
And I knew she had my, my best interest at heart. So I said to myself, why not? I'm at my last, my rope here. So it's gonna have to be this or nothing, Right. So I went, and to be quite honest, I don't even know what she did till today. I can't tell you. All I know is she laid hands on me. She put oils on me. She had crystals on my body. And she did that I went to her for probably 2 months. And as I was going, each time I went, I started to feel a little bit better. That veil had started to lift. And, I started to feel like, oh, maybe I can, wean off of this medication, wean off of that medication. And I started to do that. And, after a little while, I was off everything. And I was feeling back to myself. And let me tell you, I was amazed. I was amazed to see that just by putting your hands on someone, I was better. I was healed of whatever it was I was going through. So that was the beginning for me of exploring energy work of healing, holistic, the holistic community.
Yeah.
I was so young and I wanted to learn so much that you can ask me to go to anything and I was there. So
I wish I knew it at 20 years old. I tell you the truth, but
I
yeah,
know. I was really grateful that I was so young and introduced to all these different modalities. And some of them, in those days, you'd say, "Oh, that's woo woo," or that, I was like, no, but each one of them, there was something to it, and
right.
I just absorbed it all. And I said, you know what, this is what I want. I don't want to do any, so I pretty much went off of all medications. I started this, holistic, healthy life. And for a while, that's all I did. I obviously worked because I had to earn a living, but would just go study. I would go from course to course, quantum healing, Reiki, everything. And I would use it for myself.
Right.
As we all know, it's that's the most important thing, is that we heal ourselves. The ability to heal ourselves is what we all have. We're just not aware of it.
Correct.
And especially when you're in a dark place, you feel like nothing's going to work. But and when you think about it, in essence, she didn't necessarily heal me. I healed myself. And
Because you allowed it to happen, right?
I
You got
allowed it.
curious.
I was curious. I was willing.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
open to it. So for years, I, was delving into all the different modalities. And then as I got older, I had a career. I had many careers, a lot of business careers. And, I just, because I was out on my own. I was living in New York, very high rent. I said, you have to, as much as I would love to have a Reiki practice or do one of these modalities, it just wasn't feasible, unfortunately. So I, went into business. I eventually bought my own business, which I still have today, 40 years later. I own a commercial and residential cleaning company. But it affords me my life, my lifestyle. And it affords me to actually take courses, go, do all these different modalities, have, take care of other people because it runs itself. Okay.
Yes.
So now what I do is I get to have my practice in Reiki and Jin Shin Jyutsu. But the way I got into Jin Shin Jyutsu is, let me start by saying I have done Reiki as a practitioner for about 20 years, because what happened was I found like 25 years ago, I was just like, there's a void, something's missing. And I said, I just have to get back into the community. And the minute I did that, I went to a lot of workshops. I did this. I went again to take Reiki classes. And I said, this is where I belong. Okay,
I was going to say, like, you got out of your comfort zone,
right?
Stepped into something different,
Exactly.
and you felt it. You just said before you were in a lot of businesses and you did a lot of things, and I believe that's it's not a bad thing, because by stepping into those different businesses, you know what you didn't want.
Exactly.
You know what it didn't feel good, or it wasn't meant for you.
Right.
And
it wasn't fulfilling me.
Correct. And then you finally stepped into something that opened your heart.
It did. And, anytime I went, or I was, working with someone with Reiki, or I just felt such a wonderful sense of, satisfaction. It was so rewarding to me that I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm not getting off of this journey anymore. So anyway, I got into that, and I was been doing that. And unfortunately, in 2019, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And as you well know, it is not, it's life-changing. The minute you hear the word cancer, from that moment on, your life has changed. Nothing is the same. You're kind of like, oh my, you're used to
You're
hearing.
speaking to someone who went through it
I
too.
know,
So
I know.
yes, we're telling the truth here. Mhm.
It's like you always hear someone else has cancer. Someone else is, having chemo or whatever it is. And you're like, you feel bad, you want to help. But when it's you, everything kind of stands still.
Oh,
And
yes.
I think that's what happened. I kind of just became paralyzed with fear,
Mhm.
especially ovarian cancer. There's a real, not a lot of people survive it. If you get it early, you do have a lot of luck. And I was lucky. They did get it early. So, but in saying that, I did have to go through chemo. At first, I had surgery, and then I had chemo. And as you well know, with chemo, the side effects are really what puts you through hell. And I had everything. I had I was in severe pain a lot because there were one of the medications that would help me with the pain I was allergic to. So I couldn't take that. So after chemo for about 10 days, every bone in my body hurt. So I had to put up with it. There was nothing that was going to stop that pain. And I tried everything. And then I had the hair loss and the nausea and all the other stuff. But the thing that kind of lingered after I stopped chemo was neuropathy. And that became a real problem. I couldn't hold anything in my hand and I would drop everything. So it became a problem. So I found someone Kathy Casey, Dr. Casey,
Mhm.
who's an acupuncturist, and she's wonderful. She's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And she had said to me, Lorraine, come have acupuncture. It helps neuropathy. And I was like, absolutely. And then at the same time, another friend said, I know someone, her name is Hema Daswani, and she does Jin Shin Jyutsu. And I'm like, I don't want to do martial arts right now. I'm like, I'm not up to it. Because jitsu is, I thought it was martial
Yeah.
arts. I never heard of it before. And so I said, I briefly said, what is it? And she explained it a little bit to me. And I said, absolutely, I'm there. And again, I'm like, whatever it takes to feel better, to keep me, to get my energy back, to sort of feel like myself again. So
Yeah.
I was like, sure. So I went to see Kathy and I went to see Hema at the same time. And without fail, I went to them weekly, and if I had to go twice a week, I went twice a week. And so within months, the neuropathy was gone. I started my hair was coming back. I had, the depression, because I had depression during then. It happens because I had cancer. So all of that just started to lift. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like myself again. These things are incredible. And I will tell you to today, I still go to Jin Shin Jyutsu, my practitioner, once a week.
Mhm.
And I will not miss it. Nothing gets in the way, because while I was being treated, you could see the change almost immediately for different things, whether it be I had a digestive issue, or that day I was feeling low, or, just
Let
something.
me let me correct that for a second. Not see, but you were actually feeling it.
Yes,
That's
I
what you
was
mean.
feeling,
You were
yes,
feeling the difference immediately from
yes,
that energy work.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, and I was amazed at how a simple light touch with her hands was making a difference. So I always love to learn. I'm always curious. So I'm laying there getting my treatment, and she's doing her thing. And, I would say to her, what are you doing? Why are you touching this? But what are you doing now? What are you doing? And she would go, and she would explain it to me. She's lovely. And she said, Lorraine, you have such a curiosity for this. Why don't you go and learn it? She said, it will be life changing. And I can promise you that your life will never be the same once you learn this. Learn it for yourself. That's the first thing,
Right.
for self care. Okay, as you know, and I think it's a
Yes.
given, so many of us healers become healers because of our own issues.
Absolutely.
I mean, and so, the first thing in Jin Shin Jyutsu is they teach you that this is about learning how to heal your body by allowing your body to heal itself, using your hands. It's simple. It's a simple thing. The hands are just conduits, okay? And it just is a way of energy, getting the energy to keep flowing the way it should, in harmony and in balance. So anyway, I did my courses. I just dove in. I
Yes.
took course after course after course, and then, before you know it, I'm like, okay. I went
You're
back to,
describing me right now, but yes, you're right.
no,
I love it.
when you fall in love with something,
Yeah.
right? You want more of it. It's like being in a relationship, right?
Yeah, it because you're feeling the difference in your body. It's
Exactly.
like you're going from, again, I recollect back, I took one course. I had a practitioner do it through Zoom, just like
Mhm.
this,
Mhm.
where we had a session, and it was in May. And in July, I went to go take the first course, the basic.
I
And
hear you.
then and this is when COVID was around, and I'm like, oh my God, I need that was the basic. And then I went to the advanced, and then I went to the master, and I kept going, because when you know that you have something within you to shift the emotions, right? Because
Right.
we are guided by our emotions, and
Right.
especially us that we went through a cancer journey. Like, we had a lot of emotions to shift,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it's not like, let's call the doctor, because the emotions are inside of us.
No.
So, with all due respect to the profession out there, we needed to go in and take care of the
Exactly.
emotions that are going on within our bodies. And truthfully, we know when we do this kind of work, when we understand how this kind of work works,
Mhm.
we know that there's nothing outside of us that can really help us.
No, it's all inside. It's
It's all
all
so when we say it's an inside job, like, yeah,
it
it
is an
truly
inside
is
job.
an inside job,
Exactly.
right?
Oh,
So
yeah, I mean, it just it's what you said. When you are diagnosed with cancer, no one understands what that means except you at that moment, and someone else who has cancer, obviously. But life is, you look at life differently, but you also look at your body differently. It's like, okay, I have something going on inside of me that wants to cause havoc. But
yeah,
what can I do to stop that chaos? Can I do something to make it, to balance it, to keep it at bay? I did my surgery, I did my chemo. Now, what can I do to help
right,
myself? Okay.
right.
And, I think anyone who's had cancer, we all are thinking. I mean, I speak to friends who have cancer, and they're like, oh, well, I just heard about this and I just heard about that. And, I want to try this and I want to try that. And we're all looking for those answers. And so uh, finding, acupuncture, my oncologist will tell you, who he's a Western medicine doctor, but he'll tell you acupuncture will help with neuropathy. It helps. So why not do it? And instead of fighting it.
Right, right. But I also think that, like you said, we have to do something, right?
Oh,
So,
sure.
and when we get into, and whether it's cancer, whether it's another illness,
Yeah,
it
sure.
doesn't really matter at this point. We all have those feelings of what's going on inside of us. There's something going on. I don't feel
Right.
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 And to be empowered, I mean, take a healthy person right now who might be watching this show, and they call you up and say, you know what? Can you tell me more, Lorraine? Like, can I try a session?
Session. Sure.
Just, even though there's nothing going on, but they feel like it may help them.
Right.
God forbid something does happen in the future, and you have this tool in your toolbox.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful, exactly, because at any point, if someone passes away in your life, someone you love, and you are emotionally impacted by that person, you need to find a way to cope with it. And
Exactly.
so, right, you need to have and we can't just say we're going to go to the doctor and go get something to calm
Mhm.
us down, because logically we're saying something outside of us, a bottle, is going to help us with something inside of us.
Right.
Like, I'm still trying to make that connection. I had to explain that what's going on inside of us is we have the energy that can within us,
Yes.
the life force that keeps our
Life
heart
force.
beating, that can also guide us in getting well when something's
Exactly.
going
No,
wrong.
we have the power. It's all within us just to reach in and work with it. So you're right when you say you don't have to have cancer or some major condition. It's important to know that it could be just a bad day. You're feeling kind of,
Right.
tired, lethargic. You're just not yourself. You have these tools that you can do yourself so that you'll feel better in a little while. And you go in there, you can do all these different things. I mean, Jin Shin Jyutsu is just one of them. And I know there's so many of them. But these tools are given to us. I think they're all a gift that's been given to us so that we can make a difference in our own lives. And as
Absolutely.
practitioners, of course, I also want to make a difference in other people's lives. And I really encourage, more than anything else, and I can only do so much with that, for people to take, because I'm going to be giving, before we leave, I'm going to be giving you something that you could take with you and use it. It doesn't take long. It's you do these things while you watch TV, but it's something you can do. It'll be in your toolbox.
I have to say, your intuition is very on point, because I was just about to say to you, is there a simple self-help
Oh yeah.
practice that my viewers can try at home
Oh, I
today?
am. I am
And
not
here
going to
you
go
go.
without giving you that. Okay.
I
No,
love
you're going
it.
to get that. And so with my clients, I encourage them. Now that doesn't mean they'll do it, because some people do want to come to us and want us to fix them. I tell them
And
I
we don't
can't.
fix
Well,
anybody, right?
I
We
tell them
just
all the time. I do not fix. If you want your car fixed, you got to go to the mechanic. But I'm not a mechanic, and nobody
yeah,
fixes anything in the
yes.
healing. With healing modalities, we are just conduits. We're just
We hold
giving you
space for you to go in.
exactly. So, having said that, I did go. I started to go, as I said, to all these classes, and I'm just like, oh boy, oh Lord, I'm in love, and I want to do more and more. So I've been doing that till today. I go to at least 4 classes a year, and I I just want to share it. It's one of the things that we in Jin Shin Jyutsu have a big problem, is that it's not out there. So if you were to take a poll of your audience and ask how many people know Jin Shin Jyutsu, probably none, maybe one.
I will tell you though, energy practitioners and energy work is becoming more and more the holistic way of helping ourselves heal,
It is. It is.
because like you said before, it's taking our power back,
Right.
right? Where we have more control,
Right.
and not feel like we are victim of any circumstance or situation,
Right.
that we can have a tool, just like a carpenter has a toolbox.
Exactly.
We need to have a toolbox of things that can help us to gain that inner peace.
Yes.
Because when we don't have peace inside of us, then, I call like our system, our whole
Yes.
body system
Yes.
gets disaligned, right? And
Yes.
then we start getting pain in our back, and this is, we understand, and you can, agree that sometimes a lot of our pain that comes in our bodies is because we haven't dealt with some issues,
Of course. Of course. I think
right? In our
most.
lives, right?
I think most of it comes from, things that have, that we haven't dealt in our past. And I happen to believe in past lives. So, some things that weren't resolved then, we have to come back and try to fix things and stuff like that. My belief, obviously.
Yes.
But I do think that we all have the ability to find the means to find harmony, and balance, both in our lives and in our bodies. So
Yes.
it's just going into that toolbox, and maybe you have all these tools in there. I mean, my toolbox is so full. I have so many.
I love it. I love it because at the end of the day, the reason, I was a special education teacher, and, every child learns differently.
Exactly.
Right? So you can't, take this book and say, well, this book applies to all 30 students.
Right,
No,
right,
it doesn't
right,
work
right.
like that. So as a special ed teacher, I would take this, not organic, this general curriculum, and now modify it so
Exactly.
that when, Larry came to me, I saw that he needed manipulatives to
Right,
do the math work, right? So
right,
I would
right,
get,
right.
whatever I can. So same thing here when you say you have all these tools in your toolbox, you
Right.
have no idea who's going to come knocking on your door saying, I need help, because not one thing works
For everyone.
for everyone. So I love the fact that, again, it makes us more valuable to provide the
Right.
service, to really, use different tools to help the person
Right. And having
back
a
to
full,
balance.
I have a full toolbox for myself. So, I'll wake up in the morning and, every morning I do my Jin Shin Jyutsu before I get out of bed, actually. But, should I do today? Should I do my lymphatic drainage? Should I do, my tapping? Should I do whatever I'm doing today, maybe I could do a little now and, do my breathing exercise or whatever. So all of those things, they're certainly not going to hurt me. They're only going to be beneficial. So
Right.
I'm thrilled to have all of those. But let me tell you a little bit about Jin Shin Jyutsu so that
Yes.
you have a better idea of what it is. So it's an ancient Japanese healing art. They call it an art because it's not static. So you can call it art practice. It's a healing modality. It's an energy healing modality that harmonizes the mind, the body, and spirit. And so it encompasses the whole being,
Hoping.
the whole being. Nothing is left out, okay? Because so often in Western medicine, believe me, it saved my life. So I'm not knocking it. However, they only look at a part of you. They're
I
not
love
taking,
that. Mhm.
yeah, they're not looking at the whole person. And Jin Shin Jyutsu looks at the whole person. And
That's
when
why
you
we call it holistic. Think about it.
exactly, exactly,
Holistic is the whole person.
exactly.
Oh, I
And
love
you know
it.
what?
I love it.
It's just it's no different than a lot of modalities. It's just so like Reiki and quantum healing, they're very good, but this is a little deeper. There's a lot having to do, it has to do with organs, energy, and how everything is flowing in the body. And the founder, his name was um, God, wow, I can't remember. But anyway, Mary Burmeister brought it to America, and she is the one who taught it to what I would say a handful of people. And it was carried down as a tradition. And then they started to teach it to other people. And right now, there are about 30,000 practitioners in the world, and counting. I think there are more and more coming up. I think it's getting to be a little popular in certain areas, especially Europe, which, I wish it was here, but in Europe. And what it is like acupuncture. We have the meridians. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we have what we call safety energy locks, and they're energy sites. And we have 26 on one side, 26 on the other side of the body. And these energy locks are like dams, okay? They're like, places that you would go to that have to do with, let's say, your kidneys, your heart, whatever it might be. But if the energy is not flowing through those areas, through those energy sites, then you're going to have pain. You're going to have maybe some digestive issues. You might have hormonal issues. A lot of the things we see today that people complain a lot about, it's because those energy sites are blocked. The energy is not flowing. So in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we say the energy flows down the front of the body and up the back of the body. So the 26 energy locks run down and up, okay? Unlike meridians, which are points, so when you go to an acupuncturist, they stick a needle in these certain points, right?
Yes.
We have these energy sites that are the size of like a tennis ball. And so instead of like saying, okay, right here, it's right here, okay? And what we do is, as a practitioner, we hold these energy sites, usually one here, one, it could be in it is in two different spots. And what we're doing is we're getting the energy flowing, okay? And how we determine what flows to use. Flows are where we'll put our hands, okay? Where our hands will be located. We listen to pulse. We look at the body. We do what we call body reading, okay? And pulse listening. We also listen to the person's, discomforts or, complaints. And from there, we'll decide what does this person need? And then we decide as practitioners which flows to give. Do they need, today a kidney flow or a, gallbladder flow? And from that, we will do our practice. Now, the thing is, it's you lie on the massage table and you're fully clothed. It takes about probably an hour or so. And when we touch, we're touching over the clothing. So generally speaking, most people fall asleep because it really does bring a relaxation, a calmness. So when we're through, a lot of people just say, I just feel lighter. I feel, just less stressed. Later on, depending on what they came for, I often hear that, they came with a backache or neck pain. I was able to sleep for the first time last night without having pain. So, that's so rewarding. I mean,
Sure.
So things like that. And really
Do they feel heat? I know with Reiki,
so
when I had a session done with Reiki, I felt the heat. Like,
So what I feel and what I think other people feel that they've told me is you do feel energy moving. Okay. So you may have like a little gurgle in your stomach. That's energy moving. Okay. People get nervous. They say, oh, I'm hungry or I didn't, I didn't
butterflies in
eat.
my stomach, that's
Yeah,
energy.
but actually we love when we hear that because we know that the energy is moving. Okay. But everybody feels different things. When I get treated, I feel energy move. Okay. So, but and when I do Reiki, people say, oh, I got that electrics running down me and the heat and the this and that.
Tingling, right?
Right. So I have a tendency when I touch, when I'm doing Jin Shin Jyutsu, I probably because I'm also a Reiki practitioner.
Yes.
I have that same sense of people usually feel some heat and movement of like an electric thing. And so they get nervous and they, some people who are not that familiar with, this work, they like, is that okay? I'm like, that's great. I'm like, you feel something, that's great. You know, it's your
Yes.
energy moving. So it's all about moving the energy to harmonize your body and balance the, you know, everything that's going on in there. We have so much is going on. This body is amazing.
I
I mean,
know.
it really is. I mean, you know, what we can do with it ourselves is amazing as well. So, and how it heals itself is just something that, if you've seen, you know, when you're in the practice of healing, you see things that people just can't imagine. So,
Can you
but
tell us a beautiful story of a client?
so I would say my biggest thing is I did have a friend, unfortunately, who was in a very bad moped accident, and she had a tremendous amount of fractures. And she came, and I was treating her. And in that case, you know, you have to treat for a little while before you see results, because you know that's the other thing. Some people do expect miracles, and you know we're only helping you to help your body heal itself. But I was amazed to see how, with all the breaks and the sprains and black and blues and everything she had, within a few weeks, she was saying that, you know, with Jin Shin Jyutsu, she was almost out of pain. And she had been suffering, I mean, tremendously. If you were to rate her pain from 1 to 10, which we did every time we saw her, when she first came, it was 10. And after a few weeks, she was down to like 3. So, you know, it's a big change.
So,
And
a little bit about energy in our body. Can you explain how, for me, I remember the first time I've heard that we have an energy body. I'm like, we have what? What is that? And yes, we have chakras. And what is that?
right.
I was totally, again, it's something that I never learned in school, something I never heard of in half a century, right? I'm giving away my age here, but what let's go into that a little bit, because I think it's a good foundation for people to understand how, first everything happens
So,
inside and then we see it physically on the outside. And when I say inside, it's our body's energy that, our energy body that has to function in harmony
right,
so that the physical body can feel good.
right. So, I mean, in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we talk of a higher energy. So, all those energy sites we
Yes.
number, okay,
Yes.
and we also have so going deep into Jin Shin Jyutsu, what we call depths, and we have a ninth depth, an eighth depth, seventh depth, sixth depth, fifth, fourth, you know, all the way to 1. And the energy that we're talking about is energy that comes from the universe, okay? And it comes down into our bodies, and it starts from when we're born, okay? When we're born, we are starting our energetic body. Our energetic being is starting to be created, and each energetic organ, each organ is energy. So we start with, when we're first born, we start to learn how to breathe, digest. Then we have our veins and blood and all of that starts to develop, and we have our skin, and then we have, you know, our bones, our skin. So the energy, in my belief, is a higher energy. So it comes from above. It's an universal energy.
It's the
Okay?
same energy that makes the trees grow.
Exactly.
Same
The
way.
whole earth, the nature, everything we see. You know, my treadmill over there, that has energy.
Yes.
Everything is energetic.
Well,
So
that's what Albert Einstein said, right? Everything's
exactly.
energy.
So, and I mean, you know, as simple as if you were to put your hands like this and do this for long enough, anyone who does that, you will feel
Right.
pulse. You will feel that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all made up of energy. That's just, you know what? That's pure science 101. So to say that, what is energy in our body? It's just that our body has been formed energetically with organs, with, skin, bones, whatever it is. And, and we're just using that energy in a form. Okay. We're formed, and we're, the energy that we see it's hard if you're not, go into that quantum healing thing. It's kind of, it's hard to grasp,
Right.
but,
But being open is, being open to learning something new.
right.
For me, again, it led me to understand, there's things that I can do for myself to help myself.
Right.
Right. So for someone who may be totally against, going into having a session, an energy session to help themselves, what would you say to them?
I would say that, look, if you've tried things, okay, because everybody has tried something, and they may not be aware that they have tried something energetic. Okay. So I try to point out that it's simple things, like even in your fingers, okay, which I'm going to show you some stuff in your fingers. So I try to demonstrate rather than try to explain.
So they
because
can feel it. Mhm.
So that the whole thing with Jin Shin Jyutsu is the way to know what it is like is to experience it.
Yes.
Okay, the same thing with Reiki or any of the other modalities. It's the experience. I can talk till I'm blue in the face. And
Right.
maybe some people will get it and some people won't, but it's the experience that really, resonates with people. So, for instance, this is what I want to leave you with, or at least give to you. So in our hands, in our fingers, you can do an exercise every day that will put your body into energetic harmony and balance. Okay. And each finger, if I could put up something, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let's just see if you can. Are you able to see this clearly?
Come up a little bit and go back a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
The names you're saying on the
Yes.
finger?
So
No, I can't see the names.
I'm going to tell you what it is. So
Okay.
your thumb, okay. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we consider each finger having an emotion or an attitude. Okay.
Okay.
So the thumb is worry. The index finger is fear. Okay. The middle finger, you want to guess?
It's not love.
The middle finger is anger or
Anger.
frustration.
Okay.
You're good, not love. And the ring finger is depression, like sadness, grief. And this little pinky little finger here is about when you try too hard, when you're trying to do too much. It's when you're overwhelmed. Okay.
Well,
So
I'm going to show you something.
go ahead.
Can you see my my little finger?
Yes.
Do you see it like it bumped out here?
Yes.
That's because I was trying too hard. I'll just leave it at that.
So now
So
I already did a body rating on why that's happening. And,
Okay.
and when I give you a session, I'll tell you about that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, because if you look at my little pinky finger, my pinky finger turns in. Okay, turns in like this. Yours turns out, and each of those means a different need. So your need is that you have a blockage coming up the back of your back, that you might be having holding some, one of your energy sites might be blocked. Mine is the opposite. Okay. So, but that's part of body rating when before I see you. So before I treat you. But so in saying that all these fingers have these emotions and attitudes attached to them, that means that you can use them daily for any of those things. You're sitting somewhere, you're ready to go to the dentist, and you don't like it, you hold your thumb. Now, you could do this. Nobody's going to say anything about it, right? It's just a
Right.
simple thing you're doing.
Right.
You will see that you will relax. Hold it for a few minutes and you're good. You're fearful. You're just like, there's something that's scaring you. You hold your pinky, your index finger. The same, the middle finger, you get angry. Let's say you're in an argument with someone. You want to say something that you know you shouldn't. Hold your middle finger. Take a little bit of a breath. You will hold back from saying what you really want to say. You may think twice about saying something so nasty or whatever. You might be kinder. This finger is for sadness, and the ring finger being for sadness and for grief. And this for being like when you have that day where you're running, you're going from one thing to another and you're overwhelmed, hold your pinky. That is the finger that's going to say, you know what, stop, take a breath, and, then go on your way, but in a different way. Now, they help not just those attitudes and emotions. They are also having to do with your organs. So, for instance, the thumb has to do with your stomach and your spleen, okay? Where the index is your bladder and your kidney, and the middle finger is your gallbladder and liver, and then your ring finger is your large intestine and your lungs, and the pinky is your heart and small intestine. Now, as a first aid, if someone was having a heart attack, and I actually had to do this the other day, someone was having a what I think was a TIA, but anyway, I held her pinky until the EMS came, and she stayed alert. So they do work. So in saying that they also have to do with the organs, they also help with certain things, with insomnia. So like, for instance, your thumb will help you with insomnia. So when I go to sleep, when I go to bed, the first thing I do is hold my thumb, and I'm asleep within 5 minutes. Okay. And the same thing, like, yeah, no. And it works. It works. So you just hold your thumb, when you get to bed or whatever, and it will help. There are other things, I can.
Sure.
So, and that's what we do as practitioners. We try to, let's say we find someone who's coming to us for insomnia. We'll give them a self-help flow. And it's simple, something that you could do that will take you maybe 10, 15 minutes watching TV. And if you do that, let's say a few nights in a row, you'll see a change. But that's what I love about it, is that you can be a partner in your healing.
And it should be that way, right? Like, we should take ownership and
Exactly.
and really know that we should help ourselves first. And no different than, we should love ourselves first, because if we don't love ourselves, how can we love others?
No,
Right.
But being a partner in our health journey is so important, because it stops us from relying on everything on the outside of us, whether it be Western medicine or even us, even coming to us. It's about really saying, you know what, I can do these things.
And it's believing, I think believing it. I'm sorry, Lorraine. It's believing, or having a belief that you can make a difference on your own to help your body
absolutely
get back to harmony.
Absolutely. So these finger holes, if you did it every day, it takes you no more than 15, 20 minutes. And you could do it while you're watching TV, sitting down, in the morning.
Good for stress?
It's good for absolutely. But it's more than that. It's keeping the energy and the balance and harmony in your body. So by just doing that, and it doesn't matter which hand, you don't have to do both hands. It's one hand. And just do that. You hold it for as long as you can. If 5 minutes is great, but if you can do 1 minute, That's better than nothing. And I promise you, if you did this every day or often enough, you feel the difference. You feel like people, I'm 66 years old and I have friends that are 10 years, younger than me. And they're like, Lorraine, you run circles around me.
You
And
look
what
good. You look
no gray hair.
You look
I don't do
great.
my hair. So there you go. So no, it's about, I do this every morning before I get out of bed.
Beautiful.
But you can do it. Anyone can do it. So I think that how simple can that be? Than just holding your fingers for a few minutes, and that's it. And
Right.
that alone will make a difference. So,
Of
but
course.
we always give out, self-help when we've done a session. And sometimes it's not so generalized. We give out generalized stuff because there's another thing that's also something that everyone does every day. All practitioners have two things we do all every day: the finger holds and a thing called main central. And main central is just doing a hold that comes down the body and up the back, and that's for us to keep our energy moving in the right direction. I give those to my clients before they leave. And I remind them the next time I see them, if you can you please do those, just because I know it will help.
Right.
But otherwise, we also give, I also do animals. This works on animals beautifully. Cats, dogs. I go to sanctuaries and work on horses, goats, pigs, chickens.
Yeah. No, it's the energy, their energy as well, right? There's no
Oh, they
difference.
love it.
I'm sure. I had one time a lady who her dog had missing one leg.
Mhm.
And so she felt like, she was always playful, but all of a sudden she can see the dog was depressed.
Yeah.
And doing work, she's like, oh my gosh, she called me up. She goes, thank you so much. Like she's walking around, like she's
Sure.
going around and feeling better.
Yeah.
Because the energy, again, when
No
you're
different than us.
no different. So, I really encourage, we're going to take this down for a landing soon, but I really encourage people to give it a try. You got nothing to lose and all to gain. It's not going to, it's not going to kill you. It's, if it doesn't kill you, it's going to make you better. So I definitely feel that, opening up the space to allow people to, just get curious. And this is, part of my show is really bringing this work out. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to help people really take ownership in their health first. Be in charge of themselves. We're not taught that. We're saying this is happening to me because it happened to my dad and it happened to grandpa and it happened. Well, it doesn't work like that, because that's giving away, that's making a reason why you can't be helped. Right. You're kind of like
your power away
and giving your power away. And so why live with a diagnosis, whatever it may be? It doesn't, it doesn't have to be cancer, but why live with a diagnosis to say, I have it because my mom had it, so I have to live with this.
Right.
And if you can change that language, or if this show can help you to understand, no, you don't have to live with the same pain that comes from your heritage. Right. You do have other options. And the question here is, are you going to take that step, make a decision that I'm going to do whatever it takes to figure out how to solve this problem?
Exactly.
Right. And so it doesn't have to be a dire need. And unfortunately for myself, I came to it when I had the cancer, afterwards. But God, if I knew it before, I think I would have felt a lot better just knowing that there was something I can do for myself. Instead of feeling hopelessness, I would have felt better. But nevertheless, I'm very grateful that I know this work and that I'm meeting great people who do this work. And once we know it, it's almost like a secret of life. Like we have to share it. We have to share, because it brings us joy to watch someone else going, oh, oh my God, what was that? What did I just feel? Right? And we're
Yeah.
like, you just felt yourself. You just felt how good it is inside. And it's just the whole thing. And I have to say, once, whether it's Reiki, I mean, all this energy work that we shift the energy in our body, it really helps us to feel better, to where we take um we take more we have more courage to do things,
Right.
right? Because we don't feel like we're stuck. Because, when we say, oh my God, I'm stuck, I don't know how to do this. Well, it's not you that's stuck, it's your energy that's stuck.
Exactly.
So if
Exactly.
you move your energy and, get a different, feel differently inside, you're automatically having more clarity on what, how to move forward in a task or something else. So
Right.
this is not just if you're sick, you need energy healing. This
No.
is, it helps you with your daily, living for sure.
And that's why, the simple thing of holding your fingers, think about, as simple as that, to help you have a good day, to change maybe a bad day into a good
Yeah.
one, just by doing something so simply. And so
Beautiful.
I just think that, what you're doing is wonderful. The summit was
Thank you.
was a great experience. And
Thank
I,
you.
I truly appreciate this show of yours, because it's hard for us to get out there because not everybody appreciates what we're doing. So, it is definitely, wonderful that you are doing this and that you've put so much energy into it, and you do a
Well,
great job.
thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. And it's all about, we're giving back to people, right? We're paying it forward because we
Absolutely.
know how good it feels. And
And,
and it's
if everyone, excuse me, if everyone felt the way we feel, wouldn't it be, just such a wonderful experience,
right.
because
Yeah.
there's a part of it that does make you feel like love. I don't know how to explain.
No, exactly. No, it makes us feel all connected and we have a greater purpose, right? And I think that's also a big key in this work is that for those who choose, because we make a choice, we intentionally say, I love this so much, I'm going to do it. There's
Exactly.
some people who are in it and they try it and they don't get connected to it, right?
Right.
But there's some people who say, no, I'm going to make this my life mission now,
Right.
to help others. And when you go down that path, it's almost like you found your purpose, like, oh my goodness,
Exactly.
right? And it feels great.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, for sharing your wisdom, Lorraine.
Thank you.
People, if they want to connect with you, they can go to your website,
Yes, please.
goldenspiralhealing.com.
Yes.
And any
I'd be
final
happy to
words?
share it.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to share this wonderful practice with you, with anyone who'd love that. If you just even want to try it, I'll be happy to do that. At no cost, because you know what? I am really just trying to spread the word about this incredible Jin Shin Jyutsu is just incredible. I'm in love with it. Anyone who I know who practices it falls in love with it. So I'd love to, spread the word.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, I'm your host, Giovanna Tardarone, and this is Spark and Change with Gigi. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Lorraine.
Gigi.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content